Hey everyone, this is Daniel. So this is a combo video to end on Gryphon, Colossus, Toad. This is for the decks that run Thunder Dragon Dark, Hawk in the main, as well as Sorceress, Gryphon, and Colossus in the extra deck. Obviously I didn't create the combo. Jonathan Gockenauer explains it on YouTube. You also have Gara of Benton YGO who explains it on his channel. The reason why I'm doing this video is because there's both the poly combo and the instant fusion combo, but they're not all together, so I just wanted all the information to be consolidated on one video for the Facebook page. So yeah, here we go.
Ho ho! Yeah!
Alright, so this is the poly combo where you need to open up one poly and two different prank kids. The other two cards in hand are inconsequential. So we'll go ahead and use poly and we will send Fansies and Roxys to the graveyard so that we're able to fusion summon a Rocket Ride. And then with Fansies and Roxys in the graveyard, we'll make Fansies Chainlink 1 and we'll make Roxys Chainlink 2. So we will go ahead and banish one card and draw one in its place, which will allow us to go ahead and special summon Dropsies from the deck to the field. And then with Fansies, we'll go ahead and one Prank Kid's Plan to the graveyard, and then that will allow us to go ahead and special summon a Lampsies from the deck to the field. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is use Rocket Ride's effect, so Tribute himself, so that we can go ahead and bring back our two original kids, so in this case, Fansies and Roxys onto the field. And so with them back on board, we'll go ahead and use the two kids we haven't yet, so Dropsies and Lampsies, to go ahead and link summon into a Bow Wow, which will be on the board in just a moment. Also important to note is that we just want to ensure that there's another Dropsies and another Lampsies on field, because they're going to be important for the rest of the combo, for Sorceress and for Toad. And so now we're going to use Lampsies and Dropsies to bring back another Dropsies and then another Lampsies. And so from there, we are going to use Bow Wow and we are going to use Lampsies, since they're both fire, to be able to bring out Summon Sorceress, since he demands two monsters of the same attribute. And so now, while leaving Dropsies on the board, we will go ahead and use Fansies and Roxys, link summon them away for a Doodle-Doo, which we will go ahead and link summon in Sorceress's right arrow, making sure that her left arrow is still freed up. And we're going to use Doodle's effect to bring in one of the spells. In this case, we're going to go ahead and bring a Pandemonium. And so with that in hand, because Doodle is a Thunder, that is in Sorceress's right arrow, it will allow us to special summon a Dark into her left arrow. And so with Dark on field, we will go ahead, use it and Sorceress, link summon them away to bring a Nightmare Gryphon onto the board in Doodle's left arrow, so that way they're co-linked. So we'll make Dark Chainlink 1 and we'll make Gryphon Chainlink 2. So we will go ahead and discard the Pandemonium, so that way we can go ahead and set it after we draw the card. And the Pandemonium will allow us to fusion summon our opponent's turn, but you don't need to take that specific card. It can be a different one. So anyways, we will go ahead and now use Dark's effect. So this will allow us to put a Hawk into our hand. And so we will then go ahead and use Hawk's effect, discard it, and by discarding the Hawk, we are activating a Thunder Monster's effect in our hand, and it will allow us to go ahead and special summon the Dark back onto the field. And so because we activated a Thunder Monster's effect in hand, we will go ahead and use the Dark as tribute to special out a Colossus in Gryphon's upwards arrow. And then from here, we'll go ahead and tribute the Doodle-Doo, which will allow us to bring back the Dropsies, which is super important, and as well an additional Prank Kids cards. In this case, I chose Dropsies and Lampsies. And so since we haven't normal summoned yet this round, we will go ahead and use the Dropsies that we brought back for our normal summon. And then with both Dropsies on field, last step, use both of them for an XYZ summon, in this case, Totally Awesome in Gryphon's left arrow. And so that's the standard poly combo. It's pretty efficient. As you can see, you now have Totally Awesome, Nightmare Gryphon, and Colossus on board. You have a Pandemonium set down, ready for your opponent's turn, and you have 4 cards in hand, one of which you selected with Doodle's effect. One thing I should mention is that you want to make sure that Colossus is summoned in Gryphon's upwards arrow. The reason for that being is if he's not there, you leave that position open, which will then give your opponent the possibility to special summon something from their extra deck in that zone and have its effects go off since it's in Gryphon's arrow. Alright, so this is the Instant Fusion combo. So for this one, you need to open up Instant Fusion and 2 Prank Kid monsters. In this case, they don't have to be different, they can be the same. So we'll go ahead and use Instant Fusion, and that will allow us to bring out our Rocket Ride. And once Rocket Ride is on the field, we will go ahead and use one of our Prank Kids monsters. In this case, I selected Fancies, and normal summon them to the board. While both of them are on field, we will use them as material for a Link Summon, and this will allow us to bring out our Doodle Doo. With Fancies in the graveyard, we will make Fancies Chainlink 1 and Doodle Chainlink 2. So with Doodle, we bring Pranks to the hand, which is super important for the rest of the combo. And with Fancies, we will pitch or mill the Pandemonium and special summon the Roxy's to the field. With Roxy's on the field, we will go ahead and use the Pranks we just added, activate it, which will then allow us to discard one Prank Kid's card, in this case the other monster we had in hand, and we will special summon a token. So with the Roxy's that we special summoned earlier, we will use itself with the new token as material for the Link summoning of Bow Wow Bark, which we will summon right under Doodle's arrow. And so with Roxy's in the graveyard, we will use this effect to banish a card and then draw one in its place. Will then allow us to special summon another Prank Kids monsters. In this case, we are special summoning Dropsies. And so with Dropsies on the board, we are going to use itself and the Doodle to special summon out another Doodle Doo. In this case, we will special summon it in Bow Wow's right pointing arrow. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, we will special summon the Doodle in its right arrow. And so with Dropsies, we'll bring out the Lampsies. And so from here, we can pretty much do the same bread and butter we did earlier. So we'll use the Lampsies and the Bow Wow, since they're both fire attributes, as a material for Summon Sorceress. And this is pretty part and parcel from what you saw earlier with the Poly combo, right? So because Doodle is in its arrow, this will allow us to go ahead and bring out a Dark in Sorceress's left arrow. And so we will use both Sorceress and Dark as material to bring out a Gryphon, and we will have it be co-linked with the Doodle. We will go ahead and activate their effects, so we will discard one. Once that's done, we will go ahead and draw one, and we will set the Pandemonium that we milled with Fancies earlier, so that way we can go ahead and use it on our opponent's turn if you have sufficient material, which we will, as you will see with Doodle's effect in just a moment. So now we will go ahead and activate Dark's effect. Dark will allow us to take a Hawk from the deck to our hand. We will activate Hawk's effect, discard it, which will allow us to special summon back the Dark from our graveyard to the field. So we've activated a Thunder Monster's effect in our hand. We are going to tribute the Dark on the field, and that will allow us to bring out the Colossus. And we are going to put it in Gryphon's upwards arrow, a bit like I explained earlier. And so now we will tribute Doodle, and activating its effect to allow us to bring back 2 Prank Kids cards into our hands. I select 2 Prank Kids monsters, because that way I have sufficient material to go ahead and fusion summon on my opponent's turn. Because remember, the card that we went ahead and said was the Pandemonium that was put into our graveyard with Fancy's effect while we were completing the combo. And so Dropsies and Lampsies will help us with the life points difference, which can help us win game in time. So yeah, that's pretty good. And so that's your end board. You have Gryphon and you have Colossus. Of course, it's not as good as the Poly combo because you don't have the Toad on board, but it's still pretty sufficient. You have the Gryphon and you have the Colossus. So that concludes the video. Again, I didn't make these combos up myself. I got them from Jonathan Gokenauer and Gara of Benton YGO. Both of them, you can find their videos online. The whole point of this was just to make sure this information was all available in one video so that it was easier to learn about these combos yourselves. And so if you have thoughts that you want to add, if I did anything wrong you want to point out, please do. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer to the best of my abilities. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a great day. Take care.